Hi, I'm Sydney Bowles here with Burlington Town Administrator Paul Sagarino for our monthly Town Administrator update. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Cindy. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So I gotta ask. Last time you were here, I asked you about your spring activities, and you said you were planting a garden. So has the garden work begun?
The garden work has begun. I've been doing a lot of work with the dirt at this point, but it's still a little bit before the last potential frost. So I've been got my seedlings working on the inside, and we're going to transport them outside within the next week or two.
And here you mostly grow peppers, is that right?
Almost entirely peppers. You know,
What do you do with
tomatoes
them?
Tomatoes are boring. You know,
Exactly.
everybody does tomatoes.
So what do you do with the peppers?
I've done a bunch of different peppers over the years, but my primary focus now is on crushed red pepper that you may have on your pizza. I get rave reviews on it. People tell me I should go into business doing it, but unfortunately it costs me a lot of money per bottle. I would never be able to sell them, so it's more a labor of love.
Well, you gotta have a hobby. So I guess I'll have to keep following up on the this year's pepper crop.
Well, I'm going to bring you a jar next time I come in.
Yes, fantastic. All right, but we got a lot of stuff to get to. The first one that I want to talk about is something that came up at a recent select board meeting. Committees gathering feedback on the possibility of allowing hybrid government meetings, maybe indefinitely, even if the state ends its sort of pandemic era rules around that. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the pros and cons of hybrid meetings, maybe some of the issues that you're thinking about?
I think the hybrid meetings have worked really well for public meetings, in particular to allow the public and people maybe who are appearing before a board to participate. I thought that the hybrid methodology for the past few town meetings has been a little bit difficult. It's really a difficult production to try to make good conditions for the online people and for the people live in the auditorium in that large of a setting with that much activity going on and so many moving parts. So I think that one is a little bit more difficult, but just in terms of regular government meetings, I think the hybrid's been a huge increased participation, made it easier for our residents to attend and have their voices heard. I still think we have a little bit of work to do on hybrid town meetings. I just think that, you know, we don't have the technology, and kudos to the moderator and the town clerk for the hybrid town meetings that we've had during COVID, because they've really pulled something together out of nothing, but it's a huge undertaking. We don't necessarily have the perfect technology to pull it off, and if the town goes in this direction, I think we should make an investment so that we can have a very coherent and tech glitch-free town meeting. And again, it's been a little bit clunky, the town meetings, I think, due to the overall size and the number of participants.
Right. I mean, the logistical difference between having a 5-member board where maybe one person is remote versus, 100 some people where 40 of them are remote. It's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, and with the regular government meetings, it's primarily residents that are in the Zoom meeting and listening in. And, if you're dealing with a company that's bringing forward a liquor license and they're from out of state, it's a lot easier for them, more cost effective on the business community when they come in for hearings and permits as well.
So something to keep an eye on to see how that shapes up.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how the town feels about those articles that are being brought forward.
Yeah. Just the other night, actually, we heard a presentation from some university students at Northeastern about some pretty ambitious ideas for bike paths through town.
Yep.
A couple of different proposals. You worked with those students. What was it like working with them? How did you think their proposals came out?
I thought it was amazing, and the ideas, and we have so many smart young people here. I was actually graduated from that program as well,
awesome.
so
That's
I
great.
did a similar project years ago. So I know how much work. It's all they work on for the whole semester. So we're literally getting thousands of hours of feedback and ideas from really, really smart people for free. And it also is a great learning experience for them on how to put together a project for the real world. And I think our Northeastern students just did a fabulous job. Some of those ideas have been floated around town for many years, and they're kind of difficult connections to make there because we have some busy roadways running through town that just doesn't it's not an easy place to plan out a comfortable walking path or a bike path. So kudos to the students, and I love their fresh ideas and their enthusiasm. And, we're really proud of the work that they did. And, thank you to our staff for working closely with them. Because like I said the other night, just because you have a bunch of bright volunteers, you still have to manage it and guide. And, kudos to Melissa and her team for, really working with them on the day-to-day. But I thought it was really unique and refreshing.
So just for folks at home, there are sort of two ideas. One of them is more of a sort of a utilitarian bike path that sort of goes along some major roads, might help connect different parts of town. The other one is maybe a little more scenic, a little more recreational through the wetlands, but that one would also involve a bridge over I-95. Is that basically the gist of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that one was well received, the Riverwalk path, because the Vine Brook Aquifer area in the Great Meadow is really a beautiful natural resource for the town. I think there's less physical barriers there if we were to figure out the environmental aspects of a boardwalk or that type of thing. Again, the bridge, our economic development director has 3 bridges planned for us already, over Middlesex Turnpike, over 128. So, these are some bold ideas, and bridges are obviously very expensive propositions, but it's certainly something that we could look into, how to put together the resources to actually put together, a nice nature Riverwalk type trail. This is something that the residents really enjoy, and it's a great amenity for the people that come to work here if they want to do something like that on their lunch break or after work. So.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't come with these numbers firmly in my head, so forgive me if I get these a little bit wrong, but I believe that a survey from these Northeastern students found that something like 45% of residents said that if the infrastructure was better, they would bike or more or walk more, and 80% said that the lack of infrastructure was really the main issue there.
Yeah, it's a tricky place to ride a bike. I think we would all agree on that. We hear that a lot. We heard it a lot during the 3A discussion, bike paths and things. Ideally, if we're going to do a bike path, we want safety is going to be the number one priority. So it's difficult. We have some very busy roadways around here.
Right. Speaking about safety, on another topic, this has come up a couple of times recently, some issues with fire department staffing. It sounds like because of some vacancies and some retirements, we could have as many as 10 open spots at the fire department by the end of the year. And that comes with an additional burden on the staff that is there and sort of the finances of overtime. How did we get into this situation?
We're having a hard time hiring people town-wide, Sydney, to be honest with you. One of the things that has been difficult with the fire department in particular is there's a real lack of paramedics out there in the state. And, we're firefighter paramedics now. So we're under a state civil service system. So we're working off of lists of people that sign up to take tests. And again, the paramedic part of things has been difficult. It's made things more difficult. And just to clarify, I think we have 4 now and possibly another 6 retirements next year.
Okay.
So we hope to not have 10 vacancies at once. But you're right. It's a additional cost to the town. We have to fill those empty shifts with overtime. We have to work really hard to make sure that our existing firefighters don't get overworked or, they have certain regulations on how much they can work every week. And again, we need a certain amount of firefighter paramedics to be working on a shift to ensure their safety if there's a fire. So there's a lot of safety standards around firefighting, and we try to obviously meet them all for the safety of our residents and our firefighters.
Is there a certain point where this becomes enough of a problem that some additional action needs to happen? I mean, is the solution just keep trying to hire folks, or is there other sort of steps that could be taken?
Yeah, we're working on a couple of different ideas. One of the things we thought about is, can we hire EMTs and send them to paramedic school? I know the chief has some ideas about possibly, trying to do a program with our high school students here. So if there are any students that have an interest in being a firefighter paramedic, we can sort of grab them early and come up with a way to get them to paramedic school. So we're considering a variety of different techniques, but it's not just Burlington that's experienced, and this is a statewide problem, unfortunately.
The last topic I want to bring up with you, town meeting coming up on May 8th. In looking through the Warren articles, there's a lot of important stuff in there. I have to ask, $35,000 for fire bird netting. What's going on?
So that article was actually pulled. We reshuffled some things around, but essentially what happens is birds get into the bays of the fire stations because the doors are typically open, and then they basically get up and start living in the ceiling. So I believe the netting is something that would keep them from being able to get up there and perching themselves on the beams and stuff like that, and not have birds pooping on the inside of the fire station. Becomes a nuisance after a while.
Right, that would be a bummer. These firefighters are overworked enough. They don't need birds pooping on them all the time.
All the equipment's nice and clean and red, and then we're getting pooped on from the inside. So
that's so funny.
That was the goal there. I know it sounds like a crazy article, but
it was pulled. You're saying
it was.
So what is it going to come up next time, or another workaround?
I'll have to find out what the workaround is.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, it seems, to me at least, it seems important that we keep the equipment and the firefighters bird poop free. So let me know
without a doubt
what the strategy is. Well, Paul Sagarino, thank you very much for coming by. I appreciate your time as always.
Thank you for having me.